everyone. It is May 1st. Can you believe that? I have been trying to make this video for months. I can't even tell you. And for those of you just either that are just living life or have a toddler or have kids, you know, you make a list and it's like, good luck if you get to that. I mean, I feel like when my daughter wakes up, if I don't get something done before she wakes up, like I don't even know if it's gonna happen for the day. So anyhow, I've owed you guys a new and updated welcome video for, over a year. So I am finally sitting down to do it. Anyhow, if you guys are new to Gardens and Interiors, welcome. Kind of the backstory a little bit of it, because we're kind of going through this whole rebranding thing that we're changing it to ... with Kelly. Because I talk about so many different things. Again, I have a lifestyle blog. I do not like the word influencer. I am not an influencer. I am not trying to be an influencer. I am a mom with a 2-year-old and really just kind of talk about everyday things that we go through. But kind of how everything started was I worked in commercial real estate for years, and then ended up taking over my late mother-in-law's interior design business, interior exterior design. And we already had a blog set up on Gardens and Interiors. And then when the pandemic, we had a baby and I was put on bed rest, and that kind of was just it for me. Working, the stress got to me and started going into early labor, and my doctor was like, "You're done." But then we have our baby, pandemic hits, and it was just like we were in the NICU for over 2 weeks, and so we were just like, and my father-in-law is 91, 92. And so, we really were just like all hunkered down trying to take care of our little ones, and our family and all of that stuff. And that's kind of how I started blogging. So when this was before I was pregnant, I was diagnosed with celiac disease. And then fast forward to when I was pregnant, I was diagnosed with gestational diabetes. And so I'm a big I've always loved to cook. Like, I'm a big cook. I love to cook. I feel like it's a very social experience. David, my husband, and I, we love entertaining. Both of our families, we're a very social family. And so that was a really big thing for us. So when I was diagnosed with all of these things, I started, again, doing all my research. And, even when I was pregnant, I was like, I will pay for a service. I want a meal plan. I want something. Just tell me what to do. And and yes, they exist. But I had a really hard time finding something that covered everything. And when I say that, I mean, because you can find easily keto meal plans or low carb meal plans, all of those things. The problem with celiac disease is, and if you're not familiar, not only can you not have gluten, it's the cross-contamination when cooking happens. So it really needs to be in a designated area. So even like the smallest gluten, barley, whatever that gets into your food will make you sick. So that was kind of how my blog really started, was me just literally just sharing recipes and things like that, because as I'm sure all of you know, I love Pinterest. Good luck finding an actually good recipe. Like, their photography may be amazing, but the food is not. And so that was kind of where I just was like, I'm just going to start posting things that I find that I think are delicious, that my family likes. And the other kind of part of this is my husband, David, is the pickiest eater. If I'm making fried chicken, it better taste like fried chicken. So that was kind of where everything, I guess, kind of differentiates my blog is that I really go through a lot of rounds on trying to get some of those family staple foods as close to possible, as close as I can to the real thing. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of, I've talked to so many people when they see my blog and they're like, I want to know more of your backstory. And so that's kind of how that all happened. And that's why it is Gardens and Interiors, because it was my interior design firm. And then just kind of as life has happened and everything, and having a kiddo and trying to do all of those things, I just kept it, and now we are trying to transition to, it's going to be with Kelly, because I do cover like life. I talk about not only recipes and cooking, but entertaining, traveling. How do you travel when you have these food allergies? And personally, we have found the easiest thing is to do cruises, because if you haven't been on a cruise before, granted, this is also pre-pandemic, but my dad just got back from a cruise and he said he felt like totally safe. So I think that we're also 2 years into this. I think everyone's kind of figuring out how to live life and rejoin the world and do it safely. But what I love about cruises is when you are doing your registration and checking in, they will always ask you, like, do you have food allergies? Do you have this? Do you have that? All of these things. And so I love that they are aware of it before you ever get on the ship. And we do the Disney cruises, which is great. They're incredibly clean, love them. But what I love is you have the same server at every single restaurant, so they really get to know your dietary needs. But so, I talk about traveling. I talk about the other part of this was David and I, this will be our 10-year anniversary, so we've been together for some time, especially since we only have a 2-year-old. We had a really hard time getting pregnant, and come to find out that it was the celiac. It was a lot of things that played into all of that. But where was I going with that? Okay, I remembered what it was, where I was going with this. So when all of my girlfriends, like most of my girlfriends, had boys. My sister-in-law had a boy. My mom, honestly, if I hadn't seen pictures of her pregnant, and that we pretty much look, my mom and I have the same exact body type, and I look exactly like my dad with the features. I would think my mom was not pregnant because she does not remember anything. Love her to death though, but I'm 38, so she just, and she always says, she's like, I just blocked that time of my life out. And the only reason I knew this was going to happen, the gentleman that does my hair, he was even like, don't be worried, your hair is going to fall out after you have the baby. Also, I feel like Karen Walker from Will and Grace right now. My hair is so long, I need a haircut, and I couldn't even do a bun. It was horrible, and so I kind of was able to create this little updo. Anyhow, my hair was falling out. My skin, through my whole pregnancy, my skin was weird. I didn't know melasma was a thing. I didn't know the dark pigmentation was a thing. I was just like, I'm either so freaking exhausted from having a newborn, or I have just been beaten with 100 ugly sticks. I had bald patches. I was like, what is going on? And it was not until I started talking to other moms, other mom bloggers that were in some of my groups, when I really started blogging, I really got after it, that I found out this was a real thing. And so, and also I'm sitting here going, I'm in my 30s. It's time, lines started appearing. And then I was even talking to my best friend, who, she doesn't have kiddos, but she was even like, yeah, they just appeared. And then I was talking to my mom about this, and I was like, Mom, wrinkles around the eyes. And she was like, oh yeah, that happened when I was 35. And I was like, oh, okay. So, there were a lot of things like that I don't feel like people were talking about. And then I talked to an esthetician, and she even said women that have daughters, it's actually worse. So all my girlfriends that had boys that have sons, like their hair was amazing when they were pregnant. Their skin, they had this like lovely dewy glow. And I didn't have any of that. And so that was one of the other things that I really wanted to talk to people about, talk on my blog about, and highlight, because I feel like I tried so many things that didn't work, that it was like, oh, they had great ratings. Well, it didn't work for me. And so I wanted to kind of showcase, not so much that it was normal, but just like, I tried this, here were my results, here's what I liked about it, here's what I didn't like about it, like, take it for what you will. You know, I really tried to not bash any companies. And I haven't had like any horrible experiences. I've just been like, for the money, it didn't work for me. You know, I have found this other product that is half the cost, and it's doing wonders. So I talk a lot about that in my blog. But so yeah, I mean, I hope that everybody enjoys this. I share a lot of recipes. All of my recipes are low carb, gluten-free, sugar-free. Because of the whole diabetes thing, I do count my carbs. I had been posting meal plans, weekly meal plans, and I am going to get back to that, but just with, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes just the grocery store, it's really hard to find certain things. And so I have really tried to start doing a lot of our grocery shopping either like at Sam's Club, and because of the costs, or online or whatnot. So I'm trying to figure out some different ways to incorporate that into my meal plans on my blog. Whether that's like, you know, I used to be able to go to the grocery store and buy our, you know, everything for our dinner, I would say for like $20, $25. And we would always stock up on meat. Like that's always, David goes and like, we have a deep freeze and all that stuff. I highly recommend that, by the way, if you don't have one. Makes things so much easier. And we do buy all of that kind of stuff like at Sam's. And then if I'm doing fish, I just run to Whole Foods because I want that fresh. But, so yeah, I mean, I am going to try to get back into posting that stuff. I love cookbooks. That's my other like thing. And so I do a monthly cookbook kind of club. And I do always buy the cookbooks ahead of time. I always buy it the month before so that I can try out the recipes. And then if I don't like the cookbook, like I'll find something else for the next month. But so I always, when I tell you guys about something, it's something that I have tried. And I will even, if it's something in the cookbook, because I don't believe in posting somebody else's recipe, that's their hard work and I'm not going to do it. But I will tell you, if I totally change it, then I will share. But if I change like 2 little things, I'll just tell you, like, I added this or I added that. But I want you guys to like know, and especially I'll even put like David approved. Like I said, he's the pickiest eater. The other part of my blog, I don't always share. So I'm very short. I'm 4'11". I am very narrow framed. But I don't really share a whole lot of outfits. I do share like our family pictures and things like that, and I'll tag whatever we're wearing. But otherwise, I post pretty much all clothes and things like that on Like to Know It on LTK. And I try to do a recap because I know a lot of people, that app is, I personally think it's kind of hard to understand. I know you're supposed to be able to take a screenshot and all that stuff. I don't know how it works. I don't get it. And so I try to do a weekly recap on either Saturdays or on early in the week, like Mondays or Tuesdays. And I'll just post everything that I have posted from LTK. So you can just get it there. The one thing I do like about LTK though, and I do make sure I'm posting it. So if you don't want to be on LTK, follow me on Instagram, because the one feature I love on LTK is you can like an item, and so when it goes on sale, you'll get a sale alert. So it's not like you're having to keep going back and checking on certain things. But if it's something that I've posted, I will do like a sale alert on my Instagram stories. So just FYI, there you go. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, that's kind of, if you, I can get into a whole backstory on me. I mean, I guess if you want to, that's all the blog. If you want to know my backstory, I'll keep going. But just a little bit about me. We live in Dallas. I grew up in Dallas. I grew up in a town just outside of Dallas in the DFW area called Keller. I was not born in Texas. I was actually born in North Carolina. My dad was in the 82nd Airborne. And so I was born at Fort Bragg. And then we moved to Arizona. And from Arizona, we moved here to Dallas. My dad, we moved here so that my dad could run the Dallas office for his family's company. And from there, I went to college in San Francisco. I majored in fashion design, specializing in knitwear. And then from San Francisco, I moved to New York. And 2008 happened, and it was just not the time to be in that industry. A lot of people, just perks were gone, life changed, and so that was kind of took my design degree and went into real estate, but worked with investors and what to do on their properties and things like that to essentially like increase their rental rates. I worked on the commercial side, and then the company, I eventually came back to Dallas to do that, and that is actually how the company that I worked for bought a couple of buildings in Dallas. They bought them on Lee Park in Oakland, and that is actually, so we were doing a huge renovation on these two office buildings, and it's a very finicky neighborhood. And so my boss was like, you need to get involved in the neighborhood association, which was actually, it was the Lee Park Conservancy. And I randomly went to a holiday tea there, and I sat next to their director, their CEO, and she and I just got to talking. She was in junior league. I was in junior league. I just moved back from New York, so we were talking about, I was on the winter ball committee, and so we had a lot in common, and had a lovely chat over during this tea. And she's like, our big fundraiser is the Kentucky Derby. They do a huge Kentucky Derby party here in Dallas, and she was like, would you be interested in volunteering or whatnot? And anyhow, long story short, I ended up joining their board and became their events chair, not the Derby chair, but the events chair. I oversaw all of their events, all of their fundraising. And randomly, we had our first board meeting, and this gentleman, it was the vice president, he actually did not show up to the meeting. He had something for work. And so we were supposed to conference call him, and I don't know if we forgot to conference call him or if we called and he didn't answer. I don't know. In any event, we didn't talk to him. And I want to say like a couple weeks later, there was the first Derby committee meeting. And so during that Derby committee meeting, David was there. And we had a meeting of just kind of like some heads. The president was there, Gay was there, the CEO. I was there as the events chair. David was there as the vice president. Maybe our treasurer was there. But it was a very small group. And then like an hour later, then the Derby committee came in, and David sat next to me, and I actually was dating somebody else at the time. And we just, I don't know, David and I just hit it off. And at the Christmas party, so I want to say that was like in October, and then at the Christmas party, the gentleman that I was dating, he actually broke up with me at the Christmas party. And then David, and I kind of, then I was single. And so David and I just kind of started talking, And David has this great sense of humor, which is one of the reasons I love him. He can make me laugh in any situation. And that year we had closed on these office buildings, and I was so sick. I had the flu and strep throat. This was over Christmas. I think we closed on those buildings if I remember correctly, we closed on them December 23rd in 2012. And I was like sick as a dog. And the doctor, I was getting all kinds of shots, and the doctor was like, you can't be around anybody for 3 days. So I couldn't be around my family at all for Christmas. It was horrible. And I was already in bed. This was on Christmas. I don't know, maybe around 6 or 7 o'clock. And I got a text from David. And this was the first time we had hung out, like outside of this group, outside of our board meetings. And he was like, come out, we're celebrating JC's birthday. And this was, 2012. I would say more like clubbing. I did more clubbing or more partying, like my early 20s. So early 2000s. But, there was always like those girls that would hang out around your suite or like your table, trying to get free drinks. And I was like, I am not that girl. I don't know who JC is. Like, I don't do that. And he was like, well, you're Catholic. JC is Jesus Christ. So I'm sure you can celebrate, his birthday. Anyhow, I thought that was hysterical, and I did end up going. That was like the last day of my quarantine, and I did go out. And he asked me to go to New Year's Eve for our first date, and I was like, "Oh, that's a big first date kind of step." I don't think so. I would love to go with you on New Year's Eve, but that's just like that's a big deal. Can we do something before New Year's Eve? So we ended up going to dinner on December 28th, which is kind of weird. It's actually my parents' anniversary. But so we went to dinner and hit it off, and kind of a funny fact, so I lived in a downtown high rise, and he had to be buzzed in, and I could tell he had something in his hands, and I was like, oh my gosh, please do not say he has flowers in his hand. Like, just please don't say he has flowers in his hand. It was just so over the top. He had a bottle of champagne. I was like, okay, we're good. Anyhow, we had a great time, and we did end up going for New Year's Eve together that year. And then at midnight, there was a balloon drop, and he asked me to go steady, and I looked at him, and I was like, how old are you? Because I did way back when I was like in my very early 20s, I met somebody, and we dated for a while. He did not look as old as he was. He looked so much younger, and I was kind of like, so I was like, is this one of those situations again? But anyhow, so yeah, we have been together since December 31st of 2012. So yeah, this is our 10-year anniversary, and we got married in Niagara Falls on New Year's in 2016, and then had Miss Cricket in 2020. So yeah, we are just this little family here in Dallas, and again, my blog is honestly just, I think I said this earlier, I hate the word influencer. I am not an influencer. I do not do a lot of product reviews unless it's something that I've just tried and been like, oh my gosh, I'm a diehard for this. Like, you've got to get it. But otherwise, I guess I do that like with kitchen gadgets, because again, we talk way more about cooking than anything. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this. If you are looking for trying to do the keto lifestyle, trying to do low carb lifestyle, just follow me, subscribe to my channel. I will tell you, and I feel like this is my Christmas gift to all of my my blogging community, if you will. I do not do the 5-hour stories on top of recipes. I do a YouTube video and will tell you whatever's going on. I'll tell you my tips, tricks. And then I'll just do like ingredients, tools you need, and then the recipe. And then if there's like something kind of quirky, I'll tell you like, watch this video, or, you know, I'll do it on a reel or something on Instagram, especially if it's like 10 minutes. So yeah, I try to, everything that I hate on blogs or on, you know, people's websites, I've kind of taken that into consideration, and I try to not do that to you guys. So anyhow, I hope you guys have a fantastic May. We are finally, hopefully, fingers crossed, everybody, we are getting back to normal and starting to enjoy life again. And I hope, one, you guys, normally when I do all my videos, I do them in my office at our lake house. Welcome to our den in Dallas. It's way more decorated than my office is. But anyhow, I hope you guys enjoy. If you have any questions, if you have questions about products, about anything, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. Send me an email, any of that stuff. Follow me on Instagram for Everyday Life with Kelly. And I'm also on TikTok, but I really just like watching the videos. So there you go. I hope you have a wonderful May, and I'm going to try to be doing these videos once a month just to kind of give you guys some updates. So hope you enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys soon.